If you're new to our channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
Welcome to the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener. I'm Joy Baird. Well, it's fall, frost has occurred, and it's time to harvest our Yacons. What is a Yacon? It's a root crop that originates from South America. It is a tuber that can be grown here in Zone 5A, as well as a little farther north in Zone 4. I'm not sure if anybody grows them in Zone 3. If it can be grown in Zone 4 and 5, it can be grown anywhere. It will grow, as you see here, we've got 12 of them planted and we've got some splits. It can grow about 4 to 6 feet in the southeast Wisconsin area. They can get taller, obviously, in the more modern or mild climates of the South and South America. They will produce a flower if they can grow for 6 months. We plant ours, they're frost tender, just like tomatoes. We treat them just like tomatoes. We plant them the Memorial Day weekend here in our zone, and we harvest them after the frost has killed them. We can't leave them in the ground over winter because it will turn the tubers into muck. There is a saving process of rhizomes in which you can grow the plants for year after year. We got our first 2 plants from a nursery in Oregon back in 2014. Since then, we've been saving the rhizomes year after year in order to regrow these. We keep them in sand in a bucket in the stairway of our attic where it doesn't freeze but keeps them very chilled until the following spring, where we can start them about 90 days before we intend to put them in the ground. These can be grown very easily. What can you do with a Yacon? It's based on who you talk to, it is a cross between a watery carrot, an apple, a watermelon, and a tuber. We have found a couple of different ways in which we can consume them. You can find them in your Hispanic aisle of the grocery store in the frozen section in some places. We will cut them into chips. We can air fry them into like potato chips or French fries type of thing. You can eat them raw. You can put them in stir fries, into soups, into stews. So there are many different options.
Some other things in which we found you can do with the Yacons is you can peel them and then chop them up, blanch them for about 2 to 3 minutes in boiling water, drain them off, and then bag them up and put them in the freezer. And you can use these in stews, soups, as well as like if you're doing an apple pie, you can substitute a quarter of the ingredients, quarter of the apples for Yacons, and you really don't know the difference. The other things in which you can do is you can take the actual tuber itself and you can roast it like a sweet potato in the oven, or if you're doing it like an 8-hour crock pot, you coat them with vegetable oil, wrap them in aluminum foil, set them in the crock pot with the potatoes, and they are this delicious buttery substance. Another thing in which worked really, really well for us is dehydrating them, cutting up, peeling them first to get rid of that soil taste that's embedded in the skin, and then dehydrating them, and they turn into a really delicious, chewy consistency of a snack. So those are some options in which you can do with the Yacons. Now, let's get back to digging them up so you can at least see what they look like before we process them.
Here, we average about 3 to 5 pounds per plant. In the tropics or in South America, they can get up to 15 to 30 pounds per plant. So enough of all that, let's dig one up and I'll show you how to dig it up and what it looks like. So first of all, we're going to cut back the stem here. Stem is not completely dead. A lot of green liquid, a lot of green tender there, but everything else of the plant is all but gone. All right, so we had 12 planted here. Got to get my fork. We want to be careful that, like digging any tubers, that we're not going to puncture the tuber. Okay, so let's see what we can get here. I'm going to dig far enough away and gently loosen up around the root system, and then kind of get a little closer. If you have 2 people, it does help that one can lift up while the other one works the fork. There we go. Okay, let's see what we got here. Ooh, look at that. Now you can see here that split there. As I'm pulling up, I can hear them pop because the pressure is getting released from the soil and it's causing these to crack. That is a very good bunch of tubers there. Here. You can see how they kind of look like sweet potatoes. That's a good sized one there. And some will break off and we'll move around and dig around. Now, how we save and what rhizomes are, it's these nodulars at the base of the plant and then around the tubers themselves. I've got a better example of this here. I harvested this earlier. These are these purple round marble-like things with the little growths. Those are the rhizomes in which we will take, and I'll trim all this excess stuff off, cut the stem back here, and I'll bury this whole thing in sand. I'll pack a bunch of them up in a bucket of sand, put a couple inches at the base, put these all in there and fill it with dry sand, and that will keep it chilled until springtime when I want to harvest and put these in individual cells in cups or in pots and start them that way 90 days before I intend to put them in the ground. So Yacons, very good harvest here. I'm going to dig up the rest of these. We'll come back. I'll show you what we have got and whether it was a good harvest or not. Okay, so I've got 11 or 12 out. We're going to dig this one up and I'll take you over and show you what some of the large tubers that we got. The soil's very, very loose here. Oh, there we go. Which makes a very easy extraction. So let's see what we got here. Oh. I mean, that one there, that's my hand there, so you can see the large size tuber there. All right, let's finish cleaning up around here. See ya. Now, obviously, with the pieces that are broken, those will have to be utilized first. Okay, so that's that tuber there, and you're looking at 7 inches with the potential of growing more if time will allow. So let's head over to the tray and I'll show you some of the other ones that we've got that we're working through in order to process. So as you saw when we dug them up, and you can see with these here, they don't necessarily, they grow out slightly but more downward in size. Now this is one of the larger ones. Here's 2 large ones. Just to get a reference, that's a normal pair of glasses. So you can see the size that these are. And you have you have smaller ones, you have little tiny ones, and they got the stress fractures that are already occurring. So now, what can be done here is, and you can, example here, you can see there was a growth that prohibited that from growing. So what are we going to do here? We're going to process these, put them on here. Now something like this will keep for 3 or 4 days before it really starts showing dehydration, even with this big open gash here. Things like this, you don't have much time before they start reverting, start dehydrating and start wrinkling up. So what we will do is we'll process these. What some people will do is they'll blanch them. They'll peel them and they'll blanch them for about a minute, and then they'll put it in the freezer, and then they can pull it out and use it in stir fry, soups, and stews. Again, what we'll do is kind of go through and find the best ones that can last longer and process them later, something like this. But we'll peel them, blanch some of them. We can make the air fried chips with some of them, and go from there. So Yacons, they are a harder crop to find, but if you can find them and you do the process in which we're doing, saving the rhizomes each year, you can have them for generations. And if you want to find more information out about Yacons, you can go to our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, and in the search bar on the right hand side type in Yacon, Y-A-C-O-N, and we have many videos on the growing, the production, the harvest, as well as the storage of them. Thanks for watching. As always, remember to rate, share, and subscribe.
For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.